Report.
Everything's status quo, sir.
Very well. If anyone needs me, I'll be in my ready room.
Hello, and welcome to the Readier Room, the only and longest-running Star Trek The Next Generation rewatch podcast hosted by people who worked on Star Trek The Next Generation and on this rewatch podcast. Every week, we're bringing you behind-the-scenes stories of Star Trek The Next Generation. My name is Mitchell Mells, Chief Consultant of Services at Paramount, and with me is my partner, Brandon Hobbs, former Head of Resources Management. Brandon, how are we? How are you today?
Mitch, can I be honest with you?
No, but sure.
Okay. I'm doing great.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Yeah.
I feel like you not only do you do great, you do greater each week.
Yeah, I mean, each new episode of TNG fills me with so much energy and life. I feel like I'm 40 again.
It's a portal into our past and our youth and the exuberance that comes with those things.
Mm-hmm. The drug-fueled late nights.
And the drug-fueled early afternoons.
Mm-hmm. And the drug-fueled evenings.
Right, and the drug-fueled nightmares.
Right.
That peppered all this.
The sleep paralysis.
They say that you shouldn't do a line before going down to bed, but...
Right, or before going down in general.
Right. Or doing a line while down there.
Right.
Yeah, that's just, it comes some kind of tumbleweed.
They do say not to lay on your back.
Right. Same thing with babies.
Yeah.
Although...
Maybe demons like to sit on babies' chests.
They're not the only ones.
On babies' chests.
So I learned this. Are you familiar with SIDS?
Sudden infant death syndrome?
Yes, the one and only. So apparently, when SIDS was like getting a lot of media attention, it came out that it was either you should put a baby on its back or you should not put a baby on its back. Whatever.
Yeah.
But it turned out that whatever the popular advice was at the time turned out to actually increase SIDS. So there was a whole...
Yeah, you're not supposed to put them on their back, right? Because they'll choke on they'll throw up and choke on it.
I don't know exactly what is the common knowledge, but the point is a lot of doctors and pediatricians and news outlets were putting out this information that you should handle babies a certain way, and the opposite turned out to be true. So a lot of doctors inadvertently got babies killed.
Killed a bunch of babies, yeah.
Yeah.
They have blood on their hands.
They shat on their chests.
Oh, God. One of my favorite things, I'm partial when it comes to dead babies.
Okay.
Just the fact that if you shake them enough,
they'll die.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, was this thing even meant to live if it can die this easily?
Right.
I'm picturing like some hunter-gatherers just, being nomadic and running around, and the baby just gets shaken up when they're going through a rocky field.
Its brain is just bouncing off the sides of its skull.
Right. I guess that's why they were so stupid. Early men.
Yeah, maybe. And then of course babies have that stupid soft part in their skull.
Right. No, don't touch it. They always tell me that. Don't touch it.
Right.
And it's like, I just want to touch it.
I know, it feels so good.
Yeah, who are they to say don't touch it?
It's squishy.
Yeah, isn't it? Isn't it just?
Have you seen these, I mean, gotcha.
Yeah. Gotcha them all.
Yeah, exactly. Have you seen this gacha where it's just a picture of a random person's face?
No, is it without that person's knowledge?
Ooh, that would be nice.
That would be nice.
I don't think so. They would probably have to be paid for their likeness, but yeah, you can just go into a gacha machine, get a picture of an old man.
Pretty good.
Yeah.
That beats a lot of the things I've seen in gacha machines.
There's a surprising culture around, which I didn't know this, because most of the gachas that you see out in the wild, right, are like little anime guys, or maybe like dogs.
Right. Or like
dog
pictures of
butt
sushi.
magnets. Yeah. There's a surprising culture with gacha machines. If you go to like a big gacha place,
Uh-huh.
that it's like a ton of little like miniatures, like items to build like a little miniature classroom or a brewery or like a train stop, train platform.
Okay.
Which
yeah.
is nuts.
You have to collect them all to build the full set. Yeah.
Sometimes you have to collect more than one of each.
Which
It's how
is
they get you.
insane.
But I love miniatures.
Really? Do you like
Yeah.
them more than Maximatures?
Well, Maximatures would, by nature, just take up too much room.
Yeah, I mean, I suppose, but you can admire the finer details more easily.
I suppose. Are they finer at that point?
Yeah, for sure, because there's going to be more scrutiny placed upon them. You have to make a Maximature with a more finely tuned hand. And
gotta up the resolution.
Exactly, miniatures. You look at them, it's just like some smooth face without any features. It's too mini. Now, in Japan, do you know where I like to buy my miniatures?
Where?
At the local mini stop.
Yeah,
that's where they sell them.
Mini stop is a trip, isn't it?
It's
It's kind of a shitty place.
It's bizarro world for convenience stores.
It is. There's like one within like a 50-mile radius.
Yeah, and it's
somehow you always end up next to it.
Whenever you need, and not just I need a bottle of water, I can buy this anywhere, but whenever you want to buy like a hot snack, and you look at
Right.
Mini Stop, and you're like, I don't want to.
Never mind. Does Mini Stop even have hot food?
I think they do. Although, to be honest, I've stayed away from them long enough that I can't quite remember.
There's a Mini Stop in Thomas Center that on that side, it's like unless you want to walk another 10 minutes, you have to go, or like to get to Lawson or whatever, you have to go to the Mini Stop. And I've been there a few times, and each time I'm like, how does this place exist?
Do you rank Mini Stop higher than Sunkissed? Sunkissed, maybe? It's the one with like
Sunkissed. Yeah.
The walking K. Sunkus.
That's Circle K. They got bought out.
By whom?
Family Mart, I think.
Well, they always looked like a off-brand 7-Eleven. I think the colors were the same.
Do you still see them around? No, it was like orange or something, wasn't it?
I think it was orange with a veneer of the 7 logo. Hold on.
Maybe they got bought by 7-Eleven.
I saw them as recently as 2 years ago.
Yeah, that was. I think they got bought fairly recently, and they probably just hadn't, converted all their stores at that point.
An EB Games situation.
I think they're supposed to go away. Yeah. There's gonna be like one left in the entire country, like Babbage's.
Right. They have the ugliest fucking logo of all time. This K with shoes on.
Yeah.
I don't know why I thought it was Sunkiss. It's clearly a U.
because you're. Oh, Sunkiss. Yeah. It's Sunkuss, right?
Right.
Sunkuss. That is, and they sunk us. They sunk our battleship.
E4.
I feel like I like them more than Family Mart.
Family Mart is certainly not great. But I'll say this about Family Mart: they have not strangled the free market with in their own brand of various drinks like carbonated water. Because nothing pisses me off more than walking into a 7-Eleven and not being able to find Wilkinson.
Right.
It straight up ruins my day to buy the store brand
Right. Yeah.
carbonated water.
That's why I only go to Lawson if I can. I don't know what bizarro world people live in that Lawson isn't the best convenience store.
The food's not great. I think the bentos
It's
at
not great
7-Eleven.
anywhere.
The bentos at 7-Eleven are better.
I don't know if I agree with that.
It
But
depends.
it's been a while, so.
Depends on what you get. 7-Eleven bizarrely has two kinds of bentos. If you get the ones with the little green grass divider, they're not good. They're made. They must be made by a different company, but
Yeah.
there's another type of box that is pretty good in the 7-Eleven, and that's usually what I like.
Lawson has better bread,
Sure, I buy that.
which is what I go to convenience for anyway. If I want a bento, I'll try to find a bento store.
7-Eleven has recently started up these curry breads
Wow.
as a hot snack, not in like plastic packaging on the shelf, but behind the counter.
Right.
And
Sure.
they're really good.
Cool. Yeah. Curry bread's always good.
Yeah. That's
I'm a menchikatsu kind of guy though.
I do not like menchikatsu.
Oh my god.
I can't get into it. I've tried. And
There's a place in
Mhm.
Kichijoji where people line up like the second this place opens to get menchikatsu from it.
Mhm.
So it sells out quick, and it's delicious. But it's like the richest thing I've ever tasted. I could barely finish it. It's so rich. It's like so fatty, and like you would
Jesus.
hate it. You would hate this fucking menchikatsu. But it's really good.
I tend to have that problem with karage, which, depending on where you get it, if it's more meat than breading, like that ratio is really, really off. It's just too juicy and fatty to even eat all of it. You just kind of want to off yourself at the end, which is why
you feel kind of sick.
Right, which is why I really like, and we've had this debate a lot. It's why I really like nankotsu, because the bone and the breading, they make up a much larger percentage of it that you're not swallowed in grease.
Well, you could just go to Toriki and get the half burnt, mostly bread chicken.
I don't think I've ever been there.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure we've been together.
Probably, actually, but I might have been too inebriated to recall.
It's probably just more like it was like a whatever place. It's just like
certainly
any
not
other
great.
fucking It's just cheap, though, which is fine.
I'll say this: I have no love for izakayas.
You're nuts. You're nuts.
Like, sure, if you just want a place to sit down and drink, it's fine. But I'm never gonna be like happy about going to one. It's more of like my happiness will scale directly with my company. I'm never gonna enjoy it for itself.
Thing. Right. That's you go with like a group of people, and that's the whole
Right,
point.
but
I could get into.
I could have that much fun and enjoyment and satisfaction from what I'm eating and drinking by standing outside of a convenience store like a degenerate.
Yeah, sure. That's fair. And I mean, that's usually the way to go.
Right.
Anyway, no matter what. If you're gonna go to a sit-down place, it's like
go to a fucking restaurant.
Yakiniku.
Yeah.
That's even like if you're talking about group outings, that's better than izakaya probably.
Yeah, although I will say that there's less awkward social expectations at the izakaya than at yakiniku, because the yakiniku,
I don't know. There's always like busybodies fucking cooking the meat and shit.
Right,
and
it's like
eat here, hey, have this.
Right, it's like, oh, now do I gotta do some amount of cooking to not look like a complete retard?
Which isn't fun. I like going with someone who's like a designated meat cooker.
Right.
So I don't have to do anything.
But actually, being responsible for the meat is a special kind of hell.
It sucks. Especially if you're the only one.
Right. Well, I would never land myself in that situation. I would just say, I'm done. You cook this. I've cooked for the past 10 minutes or whatever. But it's I really like the taste, obviously, so I continue to go. But there is a certain amount of stress, both socially and mechanically, in having to tend a communal grill at that.
Right.
And then you smell afterwards. You can't wear those clothes until you take them to the dry cleaner.
Smoky.
Yeah. And a normal wash just won't do it. It's the kind of smell you can't wash out that easily.
Right. Well, I mean, I think it's a good smell, personally, but
You just let that fester for a few weeks.
In fact, I just wear the same clothes the next couple days.
Nice. Get on the train.
It's a natural deodorant.
It does clear space. If you ever wanted to guarantee yourself a seat on the train, just wear your yakiniku clothes and then stand in front of somebody until they vacate their seat.
Right. Or just molest them.
Right. Well, it depends. Some people will just resign themselves to fate and take it.
Oh, what a magical country.
Hell yeah. I learned something. I was talking to an acquaintance who passed out at a train station, and apparently all train stations just have these rooms with beds in them.
What?
Yeah. And this person, astoundingly, passed out at multiple train stations and woke up in multiple different bedded rooms.
That's funny. Holy shit.
It makes you think, like, does this just happen? Are people so stressed and overworked and crammed together that they just regularly pass out at train stations?
Oh, 100%.
100p.
I mean, you can't see yourself doing that, or at least back in the day.
I've almost passed out before.
Yeah. Back
when I used to ride up from around Yokohama into Tokyo, which had like a continuous 45-minute, completely packed train ride.
Mm-hmm.
Hated riding that. The Den Toshi line. Fuck that line.
The Bingy Wingy Den Tingy.
As it's known in some circles.
in Britain. In the old UK. Yeah. I've overshot my train ride several times after a night out.
The worst.
And then I try going up like employees only stairs. I get yelled at. Like, I don't know how to get the fuck out of here.
The real question is, how did they know you weren't an employee?
Yeah, I know. Who do they think they are? I should have told them, sir, I work here.
You should have stolen one of the hats the women wear with like the raised brim.
Oh, so I could smell it later?
Well, I imagine life is like Hitman. You wear some element of a costume, and people just assume you're good to go.
As long as you stay far enough away from them, like you're on the other side of the platform, and they stare at you, and you can just slowly walk by.
Yeah, you get too close to somebody, and you awkwardly rotate like 270 degrees in place.
I would love to steal a station employee's little hat though and just run away with it and watch them like try to run after me.
I imagine they'd feel much like Mario 64, just powerless when the monkey steals your hat.
Well, yeah, that's how they possess things.
Right, that's true. So presumably that station
drive the train.
That station attendant would be free to go.
Liberating the entire workforce of the JR line.
One hat at a time.
Yeah. Pretty soon you're on the news and it's like that's your confession. It's like
I was the guy.
The world. I was trying to save everyone by stealing their hats. That sounds like something a Japanese person would do.
That does sound like a plea for insanity defense.
Right.
All right. With that out of the way, I think it's time to get to our question of the week.
Yeah, I guess so. The Star Trek?
Star Trek. So this week's question of the week comes from Evart in Texas. who says, Dear Admirals, if you could be any race in Star Trek, what would it be? Thanks for the show. I love the show. I love you. Thanks for everything, Evart. That's a great question. It really sets the synapses alight with possibility, you know? You got Klingons, Romulans, of course, some more out there species like the crystalline entity, or what are those blue guys with the seam running down their face?
I don't know. Oh. The only blue guy I can think of is Wesley's weird friend from the academy that has to breathe.
Yeah, that guy with the mister, or he could be the Traveler, the weird, like, three-fingered pedophile.
Right.
There's a lot of possibilities, and I've thought about this. You know, we've all thought about this in passing, but I think if I had to choose one, I'd probably go for a human. I remember watching Deep Space Nine, as I often do, and they showed that you could teleport between places like New Orleans and the Starfleet Academy at the drop of a hat. And that level of convenience is just unparalleled, I think.
Wow.
Yeah. Science fiction giving these windows into new realities and new possibilities and future worlds. It's just amazing. I mean, think about it. You could transport to the grocery store, do your shopping, and then transport it all home.
Yeah. I mean, that is true. That is really convenient. And I guess my question is, like, do the Klingons have the same convenience when it's time to return to the homeworld to celebrate Shokloth or whatever?
Well, there's no honor in convenience.
Right.
I think that's established.
So, I think you might be on the mark with this one.
I want to hope so.
Although, could I be a Q?
Oh. Now, a Q or Q? Like Corbin Burnson Q? Or John Delancey Q? Or that young harlot Q from that one episode?
Yeah, I'd like to be a sexy Q.
Okay. Now, if she was half Q, half human.
Ooh. Wait. Are you making? Is that a statement?
Yes, she was half Q, half human.
She was half Q, half human?
Yeah. Because, like, her one of her parents left the continuum, had sex with a human, and lived in isolation until the continuum found them and fucking killed them. It's a real TNG episode. So I don't know if this changes your mental calculus or not.
It's just trying to figure out how a Q can have sex with a human.
Q can do anything. A Q could snap his fingers and inseminate somebody like that. That's how Jesus was born.
So. Yeah, from Q.
Yeah.
Everything's starting to make sense now.
So, what is your official answer to this? Q? Human?
Yeah, I guess Q. Yeah.
Human?
Human.
Like the spice.
Yeah.
Nice.
It sounds like a Star Trek alien anyway. The Q-men.
Q-men.
We are here to broker a peace deal between the Q-men
and the Rosemary.
The Ferrati.
Oh, boy. Well, alright. I think we'll leave that there. If you have a question, like Evart, you want answered in our question of the week, you can send us an email at thereadierroom@gmail.com. That's with a few capital letters and some in lowercase, or you can tweet at us at the Readier Room, and we'll answer your question live on our podcast. All right, we're here today. We've gathered here today to talk about the Offspring and the unfortunate news that we have very different opinions on this episode.
Oh, God.
Because I know you don't like it.
No, this episode is so boring. It's such a retread of everything we've already gone through with Data, except for maybe one small aspect of it, which is, him being a quote parent. But that really ends up being nothing anyway. And instead we're basically treated to 40 minutes of Hallie Todd trying to act.
Yeah, so one of the potential problems I identified while watching is the incredibly stilted nature of every scene featuring Data and Lol.
Mm-hmm.
And I think this is a lot of viewing it from the current year paints a different picture of it, in that it really does authentically sound like two computers talking to each other. In a lot of ways, which you wouldn't really have a sense of that back when this was made or written or acted, but in having seen that, like, AIs communicate, it does hit that mark almost astoundingly, given
it sounds like two chatbots communicating with each other.
Right.
But Lol isn't a chatbot.
No.
That's the thing that bothers me. It's worth noting too, this is Frakes' first
Directorial
debut. The first episode written by Renee Echevarria, who would go on to write 18 episodes of TNG and then several more of DS9. But for TNG, he mostly wrote season 6 and 7 stuff, so you probably love this guy.
I did like this episode. And it's the first episode featuring Lol. Lol. I don't know if you knew that little factoid.
No, I didn't. I didn't actually.
I have to go look up what episodes Renee wrote. That's not on Wikipedia. Right now? Yeah, whatever. I'm off it. Anyway, where was I going with this? Oh yeah, so I liked the awkward nature of those interactions, Data and Lol. They didn't bother me, and I thought it kind of sold the I don't know, the nature of their being in a way that it wouldn't really have resonated had they been more natural and human like. And part of it is that Lol grows to be more human over the episode in the performance, the way that she talks and communicates and whatnot, which comes through, I think.
I guess my issue is, like, when you talk about that, to me it feels like we're just making the best of a bad situation, because the whole concept of the episode to me is just so mind-numbingly stupid and boring.
Oh, I like the concept. I think
it's so dumb.
I was really into the whole, I don't know, ethical discussion that the episode was presenting.
I hated it.
Really?
I hated it. Because we did the android rights thing already. We did it. And this doesn't add like a new dimension to it or anything. It's a new reason for the conflict, but we still have the same old grumpy Starfleet guy comes aboard the Enterprise and demands Data relinquishes rights to something.
Okay, so here's the thing. Here's where I draw a distinction between Measure of a Man, I think it is.
Yeah.
And this episode. In that episode, Data's a lot more of a non-actor, of a prop. The events of the episode kind of just happen to him, and he testifies, whatever. But it's mostly Picard's story, and Frakes to an extent, Frakes Riker. But Data has a lot more agency in this episode. He makes Lol. He gives several speeches about what that means to him, what being a father means to him. He's active in raising Lol, which makes his emotional investment in the story a lot more apparent. And all of that are things that were missing from Measure of a Man, where Data just is helped by Picard, who gives his defense of Data.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I would counter with the opinion that none of that is really necessary for a story like this. Like Data, to me, Data doesn't need any volition in this kind of story because it's more an ethical debate than a character issue.
Sure,
to
but
me.
I thought half of my interest lied in the ethical debate, and the other half was coming through. How do I want to put this? Just the emotional resonance of what Data's going through. It's easy to sympathize with him and to feel bad for him.
Yeah, but it's like at the same time, Data doesn't even feel bad for himself.
As he says very often.
Like he doesn't give a shit, which, maybe that's a ballsy move on the writer's part, but to me it's like, if Data doesn't care, why do I?
Well,
he doesn't care.
That's the thing. It's less about how bad you feel for Data. I mean, you might feel that way somewhat, but seeing the situation as being a tragic one, in that Data's never going to reach these heights. They talk about never being able to truly become human, but reaching towards that. And this is like the best example of it. Data can become a parent, but he can't feel anything about that. And recognizing that situation and exploring it, and just kind of having a mood of the episode discussing how tragic it is, I think is compelling enough television.
Well, that would be interesting, but I don't think that's the direction they actually took it.
I think it is, based on the discussion that he has with Lal in that one scene, when Lal, I mean, this is pretty on the nose, but Lal explicitly asks why bother doing these things if they're never going to be able to become human, and then Data offers the insight that he's learned over his life, which is more off-screen, certainly up to this point, but it is touched on.
It's touched on, but it's not explored. It's not like we don't get our hands in it, really, because the entire conflict of the episode is just, on the one hand you have Lal is wacky, and then on the other you have, angry Starfleet man wants to take Lal away, and Picard and Data have to stop it. And to me, there's nothing in there that is at all new in terms of some kind of moral dilemma we need to think about, and it does bring up this sort of tragedy, this idea that Data can't really fill the role he wants to here, but it never has an impact on the plot of the episode.
Sure,
really. That's
true. The events are very disconnected from anything thematic.
Yeah, and that's why I say, like, that would be interesting if that was more of a driving force behind the plot.
Sure, but I will say I don't think that, because I agree this isn't the newest content. I don't think that disqualifies the story from being interesting, compelling, or worth watching. The fact that it's not novel.
I have a question for you.
Sure.
Hold on. Michael Pillar thought this episode was better than yesterday's Enterprise. What do you think about that?
I don't agree with that. I'm not going to say that this is like an all-timer, but I just thought it was pretty good.
Michael Pillar asked that it be aired. What was it? It would have a repeat airing on the second of 2 weekends, when people who would be voting in the technical categories of the 1990 Emmy Awards would be watching, and it was between re-airing The Offspring or re-airing yesterday's Enterprise.
Oh, jeez. Well, I mean, I assume if they're talking about the technical awards, they want, I don't know, maybe they want the Lal costume to...
The Lal costume was, that was something, because we got, we got Leonard Crowfoot back.
Hmm.
You may remember him from what was it? Angel 1. He was Trent. He was that the woman leader of the planet. He was her bitch boy that
Right.
Riker cucks.
I'm shocked you remember the title.
Well, Angel 1 had that great matte painting in it. So.
Of course. So that's seared into your mind.
Yeah, I have that up on my wall. Yeah, so we got Leonard back, and the guys in makeup. Leonard was kind of a princess, you know.
Yeah, that's why he got the role
he
in
comes from
Angel 1.
Right. He comes from a theater background, so he's little, you know. Back in the day, we would call him limp-wristed.
Right.
And the makeup guys had a field day torturing him with all these prosthetics and just this hours-long makeup setup here. I mean, he could barely move his face, at which you can clearly tell. But it was definitely an effort
to get him into the makeup, to get his face.
Oh no,
to move?
it was an effort on the makeup guys to piss him off.
Oh yes, for sure. I always liked saying that no matter how much makeup we gave him, we could never get rid of his crow's feet. You know. And being as vain as he was, he's like, I don't have crow's feet. I don't have them.
No. You'd always be like, guys, stop it. Right.
It's just a fun guy to bully. I think we all know people like that.
Yeah. And this episode started the trend of not crediting him in any episodes that he's in. This would also happen in Voyager, actually.
Right.
And I remember, I think it was Rick who was telling me, he bombarded his answering machine for weeks after this episode aired, and he found out that he wasn't in the credits.
Well, I
but
mean,
he still came back.
He wanted another bite at the apple, presumably, but when we're showing this off for the technical Emmy voters and there's nothing about his casting or performance, vaguely I can understand why he would be as mad as he was, but at the same time, let's be real, nobody was going to care anyway.
We don't need a little dancer boy kind of, Gene would say, fagging it up for us,
Right. Gene was always cognizant to not let those types ruin the fun.
Right. Well, ruin the fun on screen, but off screen.
Well, they were the fun.
They were the fun.
Right. Star Trek was always a very, very. Gene said it was a very heterosexual production. In a lot of ways, which I get.
Yeah, but like all things, there's a dark side, of course.
Right. Nowadays, I believe Star Trek calls itself a pansexual production. Perhaps a sapiosexual production.
Well, it's funny that you mentioned that because I don't want to say we. Someone had the idea of there's that scene where Lal is with Guinan, right, and she's commenting on human sexual relationships or something, right? In 10 Forward. And I remember the initial script, Guinan says, when a man and a woman love each other, right? Et cetera, et cetera. And the final episode has when two people love each other is the line. And there was an idea being floated around that there on 10 Forward, there would be at least one same-sex couple, like, I don't know, holding hands or kissing or something. And I don't think we were there for this. This probably happened behind closed doors, but from what I hear, one of the executive producers marched down and said that is not happening. We are not having a gay couple on screen at 10 Forward, and so it's not in there.
I mean, I like the idea of protecting Trek for the family audiences.
Yeah, I mean, it was a different, it was a separate but equal time.
Right. I mean, with the advent of the GLAD channel, it just became unnecessary to put these things on network television.
Right. Kind of like BET.
Right. Or the CW.
Yeah, exactly. That was where most of the homosexual content went.
Right. Yes. And Trek, for what it's worth.
You know, it all ended up in the same place. I guess they got what they wanted.
Right.
In the end, right?
Yeah, I mean, perhaps that's what drove Trek down this dark path that it's currently on.
Yeah, I mean, they do say that homosexuality is a disease.
Right. It's a combination of the CW and J.J. Abrams to the point where I'm very distrustful of anything that's abbreviated to 2 letters.
The JJ the jet plane.
Right. Don't know if he'll be back again.
That's how it goes.
So, this episode starts with Data just straight up creating somebody. Lol.
Yeah, I think I wrote something down here. Lol. It's funny because I never see that character and think of the name Lol, because we were workshopping, or the writers were workshopping a few different names that got passed around.
Right.
Before Lol, like there was Jodge, right?
Jodge was
and
a good
then
one.
Jodge was good, and then there was Sauce.
I think Sauce was vetoed because of its similarity to the food item.
Yeah. We were worried that the audience would get confused, because Lol does not have a fluid, liquidy quality to her.
Right. There's no pasta to put Lol on.
Right. So yeah, we ended up with Lol, and at some point it says this bothered me, and I don't remember who says it, but it just rubs me the wrong way. The phrase "Data has created an offspring."
Yes, that is very strange. That didn't register to me, but hearing it right now is just bizarre.
But people like the first 5 minutes are just people shitting all over Data for making a robot.
Right. And it's very out of line for some of their characterizations.
It doesn't make any sense.
Like Picard, who in this very episode shows himself to be a paragon of android rights, starts off by saying it's not a child, it's a fucking machine.
Right.
Like,
right.
what?
That's an exact quote, by the way.
Yeah. So
it's not a child, it's a fucking machine.
So it's
that's I'm sorry, that's probably a Picard season 2 quote.
Oh, you're right. Anyway, it's they eventually write the course, but everybody does start out in a kind of weird Bizarro Land, Mirror Universe place where they're just complete assholes. And who is it that Data invites to the birth of his child? Wesley Crusher, Troy, and there's a third one.
Is there someone else?
I think there is. I think like Geordi might be. Is Geordi even in this episode?
That's a good question. Hold on. What's this called? The Offspring?
Yeah. Yeah.
She ain't no ball and chain. All right. Data, Wesley. Yeah, it's Geordi.
Okay. I think that's his only role in the episode. He shows up there. I don't know if it says a line and then he leaves. But it's just funny to me.
Geordi has 5 lines in this episode.
This portal into who the fuck Data cares about. It's like, oh, let me invite this 15-year-old boy to the birth of my strange alien daughter.
It's Data's only friends.
Everybody else can't fucking stand him, up to and including Picard.
Right.
Maybe
Well, you don't invite Picard to anything emotional.
No. Maybe Picard's frustration and acting out of character is due to him being sensitive that he was not invited to. Yeah, right? It's like, oh, you should have invited me. Why wasn't I told about this?
That makes sense.
I wanted to be at the baby shower. Did you know that the original the origin of the phrase baby shower?
What is it?
So it was supposed to be an event where they would celebrate, the oncoming baby for 1 hour. It was the baby's hour. But somehow, over time, it got disfigured and morphed into baby shower.
Baby shower.
Right.
That's interesting.
It's important.
I thought there was going to be something morbid about that, like they would just throw babies from rooftops.
No. I think that's projection on your part, but the baby's hour was an old, middle ages custom, right? Although they didn't keep time so well at that point, so it often became like the baby's hour and a half. If I'm being honest, yeah. But now you know.
But we never got the baby shower and a half.
Right, exactly. And I wish we did. I so wish
It'd
we
be
did.
a different world.
That's the title of the Cosby Show spinoff.
A different world?
Yes. That's when Denise went off to college and got with that guy with the glasses.
That guy with the glasses?
Yeah, that guy with the glasses.
Wow, there's a lot of lore here I didn't know.
Yeah, it's a multi-universe crossover kind of deal.
Cosby! Your father is Bill Cosby!
Now, imagine that guy with the glasses trying to do a Bill Cosby impression. And
oh, no.
Which I think might be that impression might be one of the hardest impressions to do. Doug Walker doing Bill Cosby. I think the best.
What's going on?
The best Bill Cosby impression I ever saw was Eddie Murphy was getting some kind of award somewhere, and because Bill Cosby had gotten that award in the past and then had it taken away from him following his rape accusations, Eddie Murphy did a Bill Cosby impression, which was just wonderful. If you can ever find
here's what I have to say about the Bill Cosby rape accusations.
Okay, I know you've been waiting for an opportunity to put this out there.
If a tree falls in a forest and no one's around to hear it, right?
Did it really rape you?
Right.
Yeah, I mean, I liken Bill Cosby to that tree. Probably the way he has sex is just to, fall down onto somebody in a similar fashion.
Whoa! I don't even want to think about that. Bill Cosby having sex it's a disturbing thought.
Yeah.
And I think that might have informed all these accusations in a way that it's like, who wants to have sex with Bill Cosby?
Right. And it gives them a certain credence, right? Like, I really believe the people who, because how else is that ever going to happen? But I always think back to Norm, where he's like, I gotta finding some lady that lets me lay down on top of her for 5 minutes.
I don't think I ever heard that one.
Oh, it's good.
I'll have to look that up. All right. Anyway, Star Trek.
Right.
Star Trek.
Lol. Paintings. Female.
Yeah, that was something, wasn't it?
Yeah. Those all came from Brent. They spent him and Halle Berry.
Hallie
spent a lot of time with doing robot acting lessons, like how to blink or tilt her head weirdly or walk like a retard, which we see a lot in this episode. Holly really enjoyed it. I think she still does lol at parties, right? I remember being at some gala, and at the other side of the room, that's what I heard. Paintings, female.
Right. Jeez, that must have been at least 10 years ago.
Yeah, it was really prophetic in some ways. Like, I was thinking about this the other day, having seen the episode. These days, post Alzheimer's, my dad has really perfected his lol impression. Is less talk about paintings and more abject confusion concerning his surroundings, but it's very lol-esque, walking into walls, the broken sentences. I always regretted showing him this episode just because of what it led to. It kind of planted the seed of what we're getting right now. I don't want to say it's life of his. Can't really call it a life. It's more of a responsibility, I guess, hoisted onto me, the nurses, other people. Because, Star Trek money can buy nurses, but it can't buy the peace of mind and a clear conscience, and it can't really quell the rage that one gets when they see a has-been actress doing impressions at parties that only lead others astray and demean people with chronic conditions. But funny thing, Data really in this episode takes direct inspiration from my dad in that he's not capable of saying I love you.
Oh, yeah. Oh.
So it's life imitating art, I guess.
Oh. Yeah. It is disgusting though, isn't it? That people get away with
far too much.
People like this.
Definitely. And it's
especially
not okay.
lol.
Especially lol.
Lol. Of all people.
Of lol people.
Lol of the lol people.
Lol of the mole men.
Ah, there we go. We got there.
There we go.
Yeah, so what happens? Yeah, so real quick, fish watch. There's no fish.
Damn
I
it.
think.
That's sad.
This is still while Lol is a creepy mannequin person, right?
Right.
Where Picard calls Data into his Readier Room and starts freaking out. And we went over that. Then I think pretty much the next scene is Data drags Troy along to the holodeck to make Lol choose a gender.
Yeah, and they're like, oh, we're gonna look at several thousand composites.
Yeah, and it's like, does Troy need to be here for this?
She just falls asleep in the corner of the fucking holodeck.
Yeah. Lol's initial idea is that he's just gonna copy Troy.
Yeah, that's funny. How did you feel about Troy's implicit racial segregationist beliefs?
Oh, how like it'll be difficult to talk to people if you're a weird bug alien.
That, but more so, how any Klingon must naturally be Worf's friend.
Worf's friend, yeah, friend for Worf. Yeah, I'm sure the mentally retarded Klingon is gonna really well. I got halfway through that sentence and realized what I was saying.
How about we re-envision this episode where it's Worf teaching Klingon Lol about honor?
That would be so much better. Are you kidding me? I would love that episode. One thing I did want to note here is that, and this was a mandate from Gene, actually, who, yes, is still alive and kicking at this point.
Against all odds.
Against all odds. As they're walking down the corridor, Data and Lal and Troy, and they're teaching Lal about gender, right? Troy says, whichever one you decide will be yours for a lifetime, right? Which, in our current year.
Right. It's very, not sensitive. It's insensitive.
No. It might be a divisive statement. But yeah, Gene wanted to make sure that it was explicit in this episode that Lal would not be able to change her gender after she had already picked it.
That was in the production notes.
Yeah, scribbled, almost illegible.
I remember how many times he underlined the word not be able to.
Right.
It was like 5 or 6, really bold face pen.
But yeah, it was another righteous attempt to keep degenerate sexuality out of Star Trek,
Which,
at least for a while,
I respect.
Yeah.
So following this, Lal chooses the female human form.
Is it adorable?
Adorable female Lal. And I don't know if this is genius or not, but the actress's hair always looks slightly askew, like it's supposed to be a piece that is just put on this robot.
Right. Oh, how do you feel about Data's throwaway line that he was able to make her skin better than his?
Oh, I feel that that's lazy. Because there's really no conceivable reason Data could not replace his current skin.
Right. They didn't want to have the actress in a chair for 3 hours every day.
Someone made that decision, and everybody else cursed it for 7 seasons.
Yeah. Aren't the androids in Picard? Don't they have like weird skin?
They do.
So it's like, well, where did that technological innovation go?
Are you shocked that Picard has a continuity inconsistency?
I wish I could say yes,
but you can't.
But I can. Picard the Golem.
Picard the Misanthrope.
Cue the Golem.
Send him in.
No, not yet. I like to imagine Golem Picard has like a weird like cottage cheese stomach.
Oh yeah, tell me more.
like he's roided out like too much, and his stomach is just like it's all bumpy, and like you can sort of see abs, but it's like distended and gross.
Of all my Star Trek fantasies that I've heard, that's one of the more sensible.
It's like really, really hard and bronzed.
See, now Picard should have Data's yellow skin.
He's a golem, not an android.
Wait, I don't know what I thought, to be honest, these days.
I don't know. I have no idea what that means, so.
Yeah.
He could be an android for all I know.
Well, he met Data in the computer, and Data said, "Kill me."
No. He said, "Captain, I think I love you." and then Picard says, "I think I love you too, Data, Mr. Data."
Intercut with images of all the times Data exploded.
I couldn't give less of a shit about you in the original show, but we're both main characters now.
I like to imagine all the main characters are best friends.
Yeah. They're inseparable. They talk on Discord every day.
There was actually in DS9 2 characters that were shown to have on-screen beef, and then very gradually they became friends, which to me was infinitely better than just they're friends.
Yeah, right. Well, yeah, I mean, I feel like we kind of beaten this horse to death, but yeah, TNG had a rough... Star Trek had a rough transition to TNG.
Unironically. And then when DS9 rolls around, guess who's dead, and you can do whatever you want.
Data?
Data's dead.
Is that a Data episode? Data's dead?
I could see it. All right, what's the plot of Data's dead?
Data's dead.
Yeah.
Well, Data has to die.
Right. But I feel like
Temporarily, though.
Data would still be alive. Like, Data's dead, but his positronic brain latches on to a blender somewhere, and
He'd back himself up somehow.
yeah, and he has to communicate that he's still alive while everybody's mourning his loss or building a new android, whatever it is the fuck they do.
Oh my god, no, yeah, it's like a little ghost story thing.
Yeah,
where he, like,
exactly.
possesses-
Yeah, different electronics, and
Yeah.
Geordi is the one he gets through, and Geordi's like, oh, the way these numbers are beeping in sequence, I think this might be a message, and then Data is like, he just types out blender, and Geordi's like, what's with the blender? And he goes to the blender, and the lights on the blender are blinking in Morse code, and those spell out like I am Data, and he has to take this case to everybody. It's a whole thing.
We need a ticking clock element.
Okay, Data's body, the remnants of it, because it was like shocked by an electrostatic pulse that kicked out his consciousness into other electronics, his body is going to be experimented on or disassembled or destroyed, and he's got to communicate to Geordi to get him back into the body before it's ritualistically dismantled.
Starfleet is coming to collect his body.
Right, something like that. No, if they just come to collect it, they could put him back in later. So it's got to be like
No. They're coming to collect it to dispose of it.
Okay.
So
okay.
so the Romulans don't have access to the technology.
Exactly. Okay, this makes sense. And yeah, Data's dead, but he's got to get back into his body, and he's gonna have a ghost moment with Geordi.
There's also a scene where Data is in like the computer matrix.
Yes,
And it's like a visual representation, and he talks to Majel.
Talks.
as
Yeah, the computer.
Yeah.
All right, now here's a question. What's the B plot? Because there's got to be a B story, right?
Okay.
And it does not have to be related at all. Like,
But ideally, we would want it to be.
yeah, something like the barber on the Enterprise keeps cutting Riker's hair wrong, and he doesn't know what to do about it.
Picard and Riker play a game of golf, and Picard realizes he's terrible at it.
Goes on and on about how it's a gentleman's game, and Riker's like
Riker's
like
just
crushing a
handling pizza.
beer and smashing the
Yeah.
club, and Picard can't do shit.
Yeah. So it's the entire B plot is Picard working on his swing, and he has to go to Guinan, and she has to pep him up.
Could
And
work.
then, and then the end of the episode is Data's back to normal, and he helps Picard with his swing.
There we go. Or how about this? Picard has some kind of electronic golf club that Data possesses at some point and helps Picard defeat Riker.
This is just the plot to Flubber.
Oh boy.
You get like a little boing sound effect. The camera, like, it does like a close up on Riker's face at like a Dutch angle.
Data's face is superimposed over the golf club.
He's got this shit-eating grin. He winks.
Data's dead.
Data's dead, everybody. Oh, fuck. Oh. That does remind me, though, one of the very early ideas for this episode was that Lal would be a child between Data and the Enterprise computer, and they would, like, squabble over how to raise her.
That sounds awful.
Yeah, I am at least glad that was decided against.
It's important to keep the perspective of how things could always be worse.
That's very true.
Oh boy. So Lal's
Wait. I'm sorry. I wrote this down in quotes. Lal gender sequence finalists. I just needed to say that.
I'm a big fan of that quote. Jesus.
That's going on a t-shirt.
Hell yeah. So, yeah, that's my transition goal. A LOL gender sequence finalist.
Could I be a LOL gender sequence finalist? You're beautiful, hun.
Yeah, you could be a LOL gender sequence finalist. The Klingon.
Hell yeah.
So then there's some, a lot of baby's day out shenanigans of LOL learning to be a human or whatever. Painting.
Yeah. She looks at a vase full of flowers and says, "Painting."
She shouts to the gender of everyone she meets.
That is when LOL looks at the flowers and screams "painting." That is the point where the episode reached the point of no return for me.
Yeah, I imagine you throwing your hands up in defeat.
No, I just threw up.
Blacked out until the credits rolled.
Checked out. What a stupid thing to have that character do.
Yeah, they really turned up the dial on how incompetent LOL would start out as, which makes you think, was Data the same? Is this how he learned to acclimate? Now, LOL being an abject retard created the amazing visual of her just standing in a corner, staring at the wall while a bunch of kids played around her.
Oh God, yes, that's right.
It's like they don't know I have a positronic brain.
and then Data tells her they were laughing at you.
I mean, I found that kind of funny. Data's complete lack of tact in talking to LOL.
Sure. There are some funny scenes in this. Don't get me wrong. The one where Data just calls Guinan old.
Yes,
I thought that was pretty funny.
That was another moment that I'm hearkening back to when Guinan was flirting with Riker and told Wesley to shut up, as another moment where it really didn't fit Guinan to be offended by being called old, but whatever, it was funny.
At this point, what fits Guinan,
I'll tell you this, certainly not her costume.
We get a wacky Riker kissing LOL scene.
It's really weird how it was the director of the episode that was chosen to make out with this young starlet.
It really makes you think. I wonder how he could have gotten to that position.
It's just a strange coincidence, really.
Yeah.
Although it was really stupid, really sitcom-esque, but I did laugh at Data's line after that.
Yeah. Like, what are your intentions with my daughter or something?
Right.
Yeah. That was really funny. It was really funny, and I didn't expect it to be.
Right. It's almost funny despite itself.
Let's talk Frakes directing, huh?
I found nothing notable about it. Did you?
Oh no, I mean on set.
Oh.
No, of course the episode sucks. No, if you remember, someone gave him a megaphone.
Right. Because the classic image of a movie director with a megaphone. Right. Yeah.
That's what Frakes thought. Frakes thought that, and they never made this mistake again. They actually hid the megaphones every time he would direct an episode after this, including, as I hear, DS9. But Frakes thought a director always had to speak into the megaphone. And so he would issue all of his direction through the megaphone. And it didn't matter if he was, sitting in his little chair or if he was right up in your face. He would blast the megaphone right at you.
I remember Hallie came up to him to ask about LOL's kind of motivation headspace. And he just, picked up the megaphone and was like, LOL is very insecure. You need to imagine that you have a lot of just all this very, very, very sensitive subject matter in a very loud way.
Yeah. She's also extremely attracted to Commander Riker. She can't help herself.
A bit redundant, given that that's how all the female characters on the show were written, but Hallie wouldn't have known that.
No, she did a great job.
Yeah, really, really sold.
It's very convincing.
We like Hallie.
But yeah, I mean, in terms of the directing, there really is nothing notable about it.
It's not embarrassingly bad or anything. I'll say that. Like, it certainly could have been worse. I'm always sensitive to when the actors direct in two ways. One, is it just going to be a disaster? Two, is somebody really directing it while they hold a megaphone and pretend to be doing something?
Mm-hmm.
I know Patrick was... So, I was reading this. When polled his favorite episodes, Patrick quoted one of his first directorial job as one of his favorite episodes, which to me felt a little self-centered.
Yeah, that's kind of stroking yourself a little bit, isn't it?
Right. And he is due for a stroke these days. Put us out of the misery of Picard.
I'm just surprised that everyone else seemed to manage to stifle Patrick's desire to shoot things.
Yes.
Through an entire 7 seasons. Like, the most action that he's done so far is in one episode he shot a guy on the bridge, right?
Right.
And then the episode before this, he does that little jump over the control console.
Yep. And other than that, there's nothing, which is really amazing restraint. Not on Patrick's part, but other people restraining him.
Right. Shit.
Yeah?
Did you have anything more to say on this?
No.
Okay. Because I just noticed verbal contractions.
Yeah.
Why are we still beating this dead horse?
It's so weird to me because it's something that nobody would ever notice. Like, if you're going to do this, it has to be a wow moment. Like, it happens and the audience is right there with Guinan. Like, oh, it's amazing. She did this thing that she couldn't do. When, in actuality, Guinan says that line and you're like, what? Oh, I guess.
Well, it's undermined completely by the fact that Data's used verbal contractions like 5 times now.
Right, all erroneously.
And we just have to pretend that never happened.
There was really
it drives me nuts.
They could have taken the emotion angle. Like, just, I know Lal ultimately shows emotion at the end, and that's a big thing, but how about, like, a more benign emotion, like Lal laughs at something? And
yeah, that would have been good.
Yeah. And then it's like, oh, wow, she's developing emotions. I could never do that. And
that would have tied into her being scared and killing herself.
Right, because then it spirals out of control.
Wow.
So much.
That's a really good idea.
And they didn't do it. Instead, we got...
That's what they get for not listening to us.
Right. You know, creative people are everywhere on staff. Not just the writers. Not just the directors.
You don't have to be a writer.
I mean, not the actors, but the other people.
The people that really make the show work.
Right. Really make it twerk.
Like Majel Barrett.
She really made those 4 or 5 episodes of DS9 sing.
Really made something sing.
Now, Majel Barrett, wasn't she in Final Fantasy?
Yes. Yeah, she was. She was the terrorist leader.
Right. I knew I recognized that name from somewhere.
The Spirits Within, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
That amazing film.
Mm-hmm. Underrated, really.
Indeed. Did you like...
Too bad it wasn't the Final Fantasy.
Oh, that's really funny.
Thanks.
Did you like Picard's pajamas in this episode?
Picard's pajamas. When did this happen?
When he's in
Oh
bed.
yeah. When the admiral calls him.
Right. And he's got like a very open, hairy chest.
Yeah. That was pretty hot. He could be my daddy.
Yeah, we like.
Well, back then he could.
Yeah, now he's just your granddaddy.
And now he's a fucking corpse. Yeah. So the admiral. We haven't talked about the admiral yet. Played by Nicholas Coster. He said he hailed from London, but you look at him and you just know he's a bastard Mick.
Indeed.
You can tell from his face.
I would say that he gave an effortlessly mediocre performance.
Yeah, he was all right. I mean, he's par for the course for a guy from Starfleet who wants to ruin the Enterprise's day.
Right.
His whole thing was that he wants Lal. Lal is such a great technological achievement that she needs to be on a star base where they can monitor her, and he worries that, and this is a direct quote too. He worries that Data's presence near Lal would undoubtedly retard the new android's progress.
Yes, there was a lot of controversy around that line. The producers, they really wanted to have the writer fired for it, just for having it in the script. And it took him coming in with a dictionary to settle the matter, but I remember that the producers insisted on having a, quote, neutral ground dictionary to refer to. Which, you know, with all the fake news that has been out there for decades, I guess, right?
Yeah, I mean, I guess all I can say is that language evolves.
Indeed it does. Indeed
Right?
it does. Now, all my fire retardant clothing is fire exceptional clothing.
Right. And if it says fire retardant on the tag, you have to throw it out.
Right. Or just cut the tag off. Oh, that's illegal, so I guess not, but...
Right. Yeah, right. It says it right on there. Do not remove under penalty of law.
Right, you retard.
Yeah, comma, you retard. I know a guy who cut the tag off his mattress once.
Really?
And the cop showed up the next day.
Is he doing time still?
Oh yeah, no, he's still in there. This was 15 years ago?
Well, he should be due out soon. I think it's 15, 20 generally.
Yeah, I don't know. Good behavior. We'll see.
Now, based on your knowledge of that individual, do you think he's a good behavior type?
Well, no, he cut the tag off his mattress.
Oh, there we go. He might...
How unhinged do you have to be?
Pretty unhinged. Off one's hinges, as it were.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, So the Admiral comes, and he's, like, very anti-Data. He doesn't really seem to have much of a stance at all. He's just, I'm doing what Starfleet says. I don't really care. I'm not going to put enough into this performance to seem invested one way or the other. And he makes a sudden face turn at the end of the episode.
Right. At which point, I guess we're supposed to feel like, oh, he was a good guy after all, but I just didn't care.
Right. Data's hands move so fast. It was the most beautiful thing I've ever seen.
Right. Shut the fuck up. There's a line that he has where he says, "I am Starfleet."
Yeah.
Which was great.
I think his face turn was only put in there to absolve Picard of not mutinying. What is it when you go against direct orders?
Just disobeying.
Yeah.
Whatever, I don't know.
Right. But because obviously he would still have to answer for that regardless of the outcome. But if the Admiral is a nice guy. And he is a nice guy.
He's a great guy.
He's a great guy.
I hated all of that.
I
thought it was so out of left field.
I didn't mind the kind of argument when they're at the boardroom, and Data's presenting his case. I thought that stuff was fine. The Admiral as a character, the performance, the amount of lines he has, didn't really grip me.
He's overly antagonistic from the get-go, which bothers me.
Yeah, it seems like Picard has a perfectly reasonable solution of sending Data and Lal. It never really landed with me why that would not be suitable.
Oh, you gotta have Data on the ship to make more episodes. That's what the Admiral should have told him. We can't take Data, Picard. You need him for the next episode.
Well, that should have been the counter when they're like, they can't both be on the ship. If a Romulan ever kills the ship, we're done. And Picard should have been like, it's okay, we're the main characters, it's not going to happen.
Right. Oh, man. I almost knocked my microphone over.
So, this episode's rapidly reaching its conclusion.
Yeah, it is. It is.
I don't know.
Thankfully, much faster than the actual episode did.
Yeah. Oh, no. No.
Gotcha.
Damn. I don't really have that much else to really pick up on. Lal gets a part-time job. Lal gets emotions. They spiral out of control. And,
her emotions kill her.
Yeah, they literally kill her. And Data doesn't give a shit.
If only all women were like that.
Did you like the ending? Data, can't return Lal's love. Can't really feel regret. Do you like any of that?
Yeah, I mean, it made sense, sure.
Yeah, I mean,
consistent.
It's consistent, but did you like it?
Yeah, not really.
Fair enough. I liked it.
I don't. It's just because from the get go, I don't like this episode. I don't like the concept of the episode. I think it's so flat to me. But so that's the only reason I don't like it.
I mean, it's fair, but I was into that. So, and a lot of this stuff is what I took from the episode ultimately. So
it felt like we were dealing with an episode that was initially so about Lal that Data barely factored into it, and then gradually Data was added into the episode, whereas it would have been better if it was approached as a Data episode from the beginning.
I agree, but I do think that transition was relatively seamless. Wasn't rough.
Yeah, I don't know.
So overall, how many saucer seps would you give it?
Probably 2.5.
I'd give it 3.
No, not that far off.
Yeah, it's not great.
It's competent.
Yeah, it's competent, and it's not great, but I just think it offended you more than it offended me.
Yeah, I suppose so. I just I don't know. I guess I've already said all I can say about why I didn't like it.
Yeah,
It's just very boring to me.
not much ground left to cover. Let me ask you this: what is your favorite The Offspring album?
Well, the only Offspring album I've ever listened to is Ixnay on the Ombre, so
That's a good choice. Smash is also a good choice, as is the one with Pretty Fly for a White Guy that I forget the name of.
Oh, yeah. Oh.
Those are all fine albums, once you're in the mood for The Offspring.
Yeah. I like to drive around and pick people up in my car while I listen to them.
And then subsequently drop them off.
At Pizza Hut.
Right, right.
And only Pizza Hut.
I forgot about that. Oh. All right. Well, that's going to do it for The Offspring, then. Not the band. They're
right.
still kicking somehow.
Somehow. I have something for you here. Oh, we have Apocrypha this week.
Oh, hell yeah. Is this LOL-based?
Yep.
Give it to me.
So, we're talking about a short story called The Embrace of Cold Architects by David R. George III.
Is that like a sentence? David R. George?
Yeah, it's a caveman wrote this article. Collected in the Star Trek Myriad Universes anthology Shattered Light.
Okay.
So, in this alternate universe...
Is this where LOL picked the Klingon Skin.
No. In this alternate universe, Law's creation is delayed until right before the best of both worlds.
Okay. Oh, does she
Okay.
get Borged completed?
She shouldn't get borged. I don't
Okay.
think so. But my question is, why is her creation delayed?
Is this related to the Borg or no?
No.
Okay.
No.
So it's just
You
some
have all the
random
information in the episode.
Oh,
You
in
have
the
all the information in the episode. Yep.
could Data not find that foot he's fucking with at the beginning of the episode?
It's not it though.
Let's see. Her thing was delayed. There's better not be some stupid technical reason like he couldn't lay down the positronic neural pathways.
No.
Okay.
No, it's something you can definitely guess. Although you may not put together the pieces because it's kind of a
it's fine.
throwaway line.
Does it have to do with Riker being on leave?
No.
Damn, I'm thinking of throwaway lines now. I don't know, something stupid like he didn't have the materials, like they didn't get delivered yet.
It is something stupid. It's because he missed the cybernetics conference. He didn't miss the cybernetics conference.
And what is? Did they hold it again later?
I don't know. I don't know. Maybe he watched the recording, the recorded PowerPoint.
So how does this come out in this whatever apocrypha this is? Does Data say, "Oh, I missed that cybernetics conference several months ago, but I read this book last week"?
It must be. Yeah, it must be.
It's just clumsy and stupid explanation.
So, Data only completed his work shortly before the Borg invasion Best of Both Worlds. As a result, Lal's existence allowed Picard to, quote, distract the Borg by focusing on Lal and the long-term implications of her existence after he became Locutus of Borg, allowing Riker time to give the order to destroy the Borg cube and kill Locutus before the Borg could find and adapt to their tech. I have to wonder how many, quote, alternate universes there are where Locutus gets killed. Because you know these like Star Trek Apocrypha writers get hard for that.
It's the easiest, lowest hanging fruit.
Right.
You get Riker as the captain. You have a big shocking moment. A lot of drama. Yeah.
That is what it is. It's
so
low-hanging
let me
fruit.
be clear. Is there a difference between an alternate universe and the mirror universe?
Yes, the mirror universe is a specific alternate universe.
Oh, jeez. Okay. Now, does anybody have any qualms about using Lal as bait, given that they've established their views on her as people?
I don't know. I guess I'm gonna have to buy this.
What's the name of it?
Star Trek Myriad Universes Shattered Light.
Is this a comic or a novel?
It's a novel.
Or a light novel?
It's a collection of novellas.
Oh, jeez. I think that's what really sells it to me, is having to constantly jump around different alternate universes by different authors. And
and it's like
the
I
whiplash.
see Sulu on the front.
Like here's Sulu, here's Picard with a mustache, here's the Mirror Universe.
Yeah.
Here's Lal again. Oh, jeez. Fuck the Apocrypha. Fuck Trek.
The Apocrypha, Star Trek Apocrypha, is honestly somehow worse than Star Wars.
How? Explain that to me.
Oh, I mean, it's just like Star Wars can kind of get away with doing stupid stuff, but when Trek does stupid stuff like this, it feels too pulpy.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Which is weird because pulpy would fit Star Wars, but not Star Trek.
Yeah. It doesn't really fit Star Trek. So this all like, oh, what if
right
type stuff is like, who cares?
It's too dumb.
That's not the point.
Right. I very rarely do they use the Apocrypha to challenge complex moral questions or ethical dilemmas, and instead it's just what if Picard and what's his name, Kirk fought each other.
Right? Yes, that's exactly what it is. It's entirely like dumb fan service. What if Worf and Riker had a gay relationship?
What if the original series Klingons fought the TNG Klingons?
Right. Or the what's the new show? Discovery, the Discovery Klingons.
Oh, are they different too?
Oh, they're very different looking.
Oh, jeez.
You haven't seen these things?
We can't give them the stupid head things. That's so 1986.
No, you have to see these things.
I'm looking it up now. Live. Star Trek Discovery Klingons. They're from Kling. Oh, they look like insects, kind of.
Yeah, they're gross, aren't they?
They are. I mean, at least they still have the head thing.
They have the head thing. They could have at least given them like hair, though, and then they would have looked like Klingons.
Is this set,
for the most part,
like thousands of years in the future where they could conceivably have evolved?
It's literally set before the original series.
Oh, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Looking at pictures, some of them do have hair, it looks like.
Oh, do they?
These might be the women.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's the women. But not all the women. Not all women.
Not all Klingons are bald cancer patients. Something I like. I like how offhandedly, and this is very, very minute, but I love when different species in Star Trek refer to their aspects of their physiology offhandedly and casually. For example, the Klingons talking about their ridges and the Ferengis talking about their lobes.
Yeah.
This is very natural.
My ridges, Captain.
You know, anytime Worf's on screen with his brother, he's always like, "You don't have the lobes, you small-lobed idiot." It's like...
The Ferengi ears are sexual, right?
Yes, they're... I guess this is also sexual. They're a sign of one's capabilities, virility. They are... When stimulated, they are sexual as well. And they're also ears because they can hear things.
You're fucking disgusting.
What?
That you know this.
It's really struck with me how you attempted to shame me for remembering Picard's origin story of being stabbed in the back while playing Domjot as being nerdy. And now you're coming at me for this.
It's not about knowing that. That one was about just how
dense that sentence was with nerd shit. Yeah.
Right, exactly.
I buy that.
You need a lot of specialty language in there.
Domjot is what pushes it over the edge.
Yes.
Now, did you know that Jake Sisko is a really good Domjot hustler?
Really?
Yes, they established this.
He's a hustler, huh?
He's a hustler.
He's a little racist.
Yeah, they could have chosen someone other than the Black Sun to be a hustler, but... I think that's going to about do it for today. Unless you have anything else you wanted to cover.
Well... Nah, we'll get to it next week.
Hey, what could you possibly have to say that would also come up next week?
Oh, the next episode.
Oh. Well, alright. Fair enough. I guess I can't really blame that. Alright, well, then, I agree. Next week we will have the next episode. And what is it? I don't know. Join us next time for that. Before we go, I want to give a shout out to our sponsors. Denny's, home of the Tauntaun Men. Pep Boys, home of the Pep Men, and a 3-minute oil change. Drop the term Readier at either of these establishments for 15% off of all of your purchases. And if you out there are looking for somebody to, looking for a podcast to sponsor, you can hit us up at our business email at thereadierbusiness@gmail.com. That first at was with AT, so AT, the Readier Business @gmail.com, and we can negotiate. Next week, we'll have another episode of TNG. Until then, I want everybody listening and their loved ones to please stay ready.
The troublesome little man-child. before you defrocked. Condemned to be a member of this lowest of species.
Thank you, Ensign. Engage.
Do you consider yourself superior to us?
Should have told him to mind his own damn business.
But I stroked the beard thusly. Do I not appear more intellectual?
Computer, freeze program.
Have you never dreamed of climbing inside the bottle?